Laggy. I got gremlined, I think. I think they might have seen us for a second and are stupor waiting for the countdown to stop because I pushed it with 2, but it didn't go. I even pushed it with 2.
That's why I do it. I try to do it a little early just in case.
Yeah, I try not to jump the gun too much, but I went on 2 and snap count was 3. False start. False start. 5 yards on JJ. We're going to repeat first down. So from the top, welcome to the LowcoSports Lowdown. Justin Jarrett, joined by the whole crew tonight. Max Araj, Marcus Walsh from WHHI TV. They're both moonlighting on Beaufort's Own tomorrow night.
Yes,
and
indeed.
Wes Kerr, a couple of OGs, me and Wes, joined by our newer friends. Relatively newer friends, but got a lot to get through tonight, boys. It's the beginning and the end. That's the episode title. The beginning of a new season. We've got basketball to talk about, including Sand Shark 2 scoops night in the Cove last night, which was exciting. A couple of really interesting games.
Pair of wins that were closer than I thought they would be, but they were at the
weird end of the day, games. Both USCB got up 18 to 20 in both games, and then found themselves down in the second half and had to come back and win those 2 competitive games. So it was a good night. It was really fun. We've also got preseason rankings in basketball. We've got a few SCISA games have gotten in already. They always get an early jump.
Yeah, they started
Thursday. And then we got some, we got all kinds of stuff on tap this weekend, including some wrestling. But we got 3 football games to preview as well. 3 teams still kicking deep into November, and one of them will wrap it up this weekend. Saturday, Colleton Prep playing for the SCISA 1A state championship against Williamsburg Academy. That's a rematch of 2022 when the Stallions got the better of the Warhawks. So we look forward to that one. We'll preview that a little later, and also to public school teams still left in it. Hilton Head hosting a 3rd round playoff game for the first time since the Dan Utley era, 89, the last time they had one at home this late in the playoffs. And Hampton County going on the road to Manning to try to avenge last year's 28-27 overtime loss. So it's a really fun week in our world, boys. How y'all? But it's also a busy week. How y'all holding up this time of year?
Right. But hey, it's the last full week before Thanksgiving, so it's always a mad rush because it's the high school league playoffs are deepening with only 8 teams left in each classification. Then of course the championships in SCISA, which are always a ton of fun to cover and go to. Unfortunately, they won't be at Charleston Southern, which is the place I really have enjoyed being at in terms of those games. But obviously, the conflict has pushed them to South Carolina State. But I'm really excited for Colleton Prep and that team, and of course, I'm feeling some good energy about the Seahawks team. We'll definitely get to them later on in the show. But I just wrote a piece about them today. I'm not sure if you had the time to make the edits.
I have not. I'm going to do some editing either tonight or in the morning, depending on how much gas is left in the tank.
Yeah, no worries. But busy. Everyone's busy this time of year, but we're trying to do our best and covering all. I mean, these are what you play for. You got to work to a very high degree to be still playing football this Friday or this Saturday. So. One more win, then you get to the practice on Thanksgiving, which is a really special tradition that not many teams get a chance to do. So that's always exciting, and I'm feeling really good energy about this Hilton Head team and this great collegiate squad. They're one of the better teams in the state in 4A for a reason, but
absolutely,
I mean obviously, but I just think this Hilton Head team, with the way that we have seen this team as a whole play, and with the way that defense has really been competitive throughout, not just competitive but dominant. I'm looking forward to seeing how this Hilton Head team will fare, and quite possibly, well, it's by far the biggest game in the BJ Payne era since 2012. So a lot on the line. A chance to potentially host if North Augusta knocks off South Florence, which is, not out of the realm of possibility that could happen. But obviously Hilton has a tough task in front of them tomorrow, and that's all you got to be thinking about if you're the Seahawks, and you take it that one play at a time mentality. And I'm just, vibes are high. It has been a long time Hilton has hosted a game like this, and I hope that they'll get a good crowd representation from the community and maybe some maybe Hilton prep kids or Bluffton kids or some of those, because this time of year where when teams are wrapping up their seasons, you get to see some players and coaches and just fans from other teams support who's left, and that's the cool part of the time of year.
You mentioned that, Wes, and I'm glad that you did. I'm going to put a plea out right now, outside of my objective play-by-play, keys to the game, that type of thing, because I'll be on the play-by-play. Javon and Max will be flanked off to the right and to the left of me, as I'll be out of the shotgun, if you will, away from all my materials and whatnot. Hoping to have Daniel Court possibly roaming the sidelines if we can make that work. As well, I have to talk to Javon about that, but he said that he was going to be planning to be at the game, so going to see if DC can join us. But I have a plea to the folks of the Low Country. This is not a normal game, and during these playoffs, I understand that there's traffic, and especially in the areas of Bluffton, Hilton Head, they've had home games, but it's been like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe even 20 minutes before these games start that I've been at. Gilbert, Bluffton, and then in the case of last week, certainly covering Hilton Head against Wilson, and the stands are empty. It really, I think, would be a great idea to get there early, soak it all in, because you never know when this is going to be your last in a miraculous season. Get there early, take it all in, drink it up, enjoy it, because you never know when it's going to be over.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm Marcus Walsh, and I approve this message because obviously it came out of my mouth.
Yeah, and I mean, I just remember when I was a student, and I just, I'm not going to say things are different now. I will just say that fans have been attending these games a little bit more in terms of taking a little bit more time to get there, which is, I understand, responsibilities are, and maybe this is just my thoughts and from over the years,
and you certainly could be right without question,
right,
Wes,
right.
and I buy that. I buy that too.
There's obviously still a lot of support, and rightfully so. There's some tremendous teams throughout the area, and they continue to get to some excellent support. But to just follow what Marcus said. This game does not come around very often. It has been since the late 80s, early 90s that this team has been able to host a playoff game at this late in November. I mean, this is what you work for, to be able to have this home game in front of your fans for a chance to get to the Final Four in the state, and that is something that should be celebrated and should be attended to by the community. So I do hope that we get a good turnout and a good level of support this game, because these kids deserve it. I mean, you talk about what they have done to get to this point; they deserve a tremendous supportive section at this game, and I hope the students will pack the nest as well, because that's where a lot of the energy comes from the student section, and we've seen that some, like, especially at Buford, their fans have been great. Hilton Christian Academy. If you have a good student section, that just completely raises the atmosphere. So, just hoping that we get a good turnout from the students, good turnout from the community, and that's going to be a fun, memorable night. Even if it doesn't go our way, I just hope that it was a game that we will remember because of how excited the community got, and that's what I love about high school sports, and really sports in general, is just the fans' excitement. And just the passion that they show, especially when it gets to like the playoffs, no matter what season or what sport it is. And high school sports is just really special and unique, because just the pride, the school pride, the community pride, there's nothing like it, and that's what I love about this time of year, when the stakes are raised even higher, and I expect it to be a fantastic atmosphere and just vibe all around at Hilton High tomorrow night, and something I've been looking for and hoping to see for a long while, and just give a bunch of credit to how this team has continued to work and find a way to get to this point where you're still staying among just 7 other teams left, and you hope to he'll be about one of the final 4 by the end of the night, and Gray Collegiate is going to be quite the test for this Hilton team, but I just have a sense of optimism that this team is going to rise to the occasion. But certainly we have a lot to cover, so I'm not going to take we got some hoops to talk about. Obviously, Hampton County, and we got a state championship in SCISA as well. But I'm just
a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, and just
and everything you said can be said for the other teams too, in terms of Hampton fans, get on the road and go support your boys, because you never know when they, you might not get another chance next week. So get out there and get behind them. And Colleton fans, Colleton fans are setting up their tailgate about noon. 3:30.
Oh, they are all in.
They're ready.
All these teams will be all in for that state championship.
But there for that tailgate.
Hilton pulls off the upset. I will next week. I will be on my way to South Florence, or I'll be gearing up for a potential Lower State title game here. But certainly work to be done before that. But it's just the excitement is certainly there, not just with Hilton Ed, but especially with Colleton Prep, with another chance to get revenge from what happened 3 years ago. And then same for Hampton County. I mean, 2 of these matchups are against teams that have not or won a championship against our Lowco squads in the past. So revenge weekend, or revenge Friday or Saturday, as you call it, for 2 of these teams. Revenge weekend. And then of course you got Hilton Head looking to make a statement of their own. So it's a cool swing of it, just to see 2 teams that are hungry to rewrite those scripts. And of course Hampton County last year, and then 3 years ago, which seems like it was too long ago, but then again, maybe it does. But man, I just remember Cole Davis absolutely balling out in that state championship game. He put up a memorable showing, losing effort, and man, I just had a sense that maybe Colleton Prep was able to pull that one off, but Williamsburg was certainly tremendous that evening that they played the game on. And but yeah, the legend of Cole Davis. I just remember how he rose the challenge, and I feel Cale Owens will answer that same challenge as well, and maybe do one better and bring home that title.
And Hampton County is in the house. Miss Grant, Mama Grant says we ready too. So they're ready.
Oh,
they've been ready for a year
to
go back to Manning and try to get that get back. So I mean, we've already started down that path. Do we just go ahead and do these football previews?
Let's do the football games first.
Yeah. I think we do
that.
We're
rocking and rolling.
I think we're already in that mindset. So let's go that route.
It's the biggest thing.
And let's start with Hampton, because we talked a lot about Hilton Head there, and a little bit about Colleton Prep, but we'll save them for last. But Hampton is obviously a great matchup going to Manning. I saw it last year in person, and it was just the weirdest game. I mean, Hampton felt like they were in control. It was going back and forth, but they were in position. And then it just, the wheels just fell off all at once, and then all of a sudden they couldn't get a first down, and they couldn't get a stop, and Manning kept coming back, and then we got into the 2-point conversion situation in overtime, where they failed on going for 2. But it was such a weird game, such a devastating loss. It was unexpected. Like, we really thought they were going to get through that one right up until the second part of the fourth quarter. And I just know that when they roll back in there on that bus tomorrow night, it's all going to come rushing back. And I feel really good about the motivation factor for Hampton. You're going on the road, but it's a place you just played last year. There's some familiarity there. It's going to feel a lot like that night. And, I just think this team is really equipped for this game. And Jalen Singletary has been unstoppable. Obviously, the X factor is if he gets stepped on or something, that changes everything. But they have some guys, some younger guys who can run the ball. They got some other weapons. So I like Hampton in this one, but I really think it's a battle. I think this Manning team's solid. They were really relentless last year, and I think it's going to go down to the wire. And I think whoever takes care of that ball and makes plays down the stretch is going to be able to get the win here. But I'm going with the Canes. I'm staying homer on this one.
This Hampton County team, I mean, they have certainly turned it on the last half of the season. They were challenged, and then they kind of rolled through. Region play is as expected, but I like what I've seen so far in the playoffs. By this offense, I thought they handled Chiraw pretty well. Obviously, they took care of Lake City, but I think just the mentality of going to a place where you lost, it wasn't just a loss, it was an absolute heartbreaker, where you were there, JJ. I remember you were reporting on that in round 2 last year, and it just devastation when they were unable to get the job done. But I think this team is a lot deeper this year. I think Jalen Singletary is even better than we saw a year ago. I think they've been improving up front, and I just think that the energy of this team is really going to show itself early. You have just a ton of senior studs who have really took command of this defense. I mean, Malik Terry, you talk about how well he has set the tone, among others on the defensive side, which have really shown up in a big way as this year has gone along. I think they're very well coached, and coming into a hostile environment like Manning, I mean, they have been trained for an opportunity that they've been chomping at the bit, as you said, to get that chance to take this team on again. And I think they're well prepared. I mean, I like the way that Rob Hanna has built that schedule for what we have seen this year. And but this Manning team, they have shown that they're going to be a tough test to hold down. And I agree with you. I think it could be that back and forth style of game where, which team can get that big stop, which team can find a way to disrupt the other team's offense. And I feel like this Hampton County D is ready to make a statement. Now they've had their lumps earlier in this year, but I just think that senior-laden group, they've learned from the past, and they've been all in scouting this. I mean, they know a lot about this Manning team. They've done a good job preparing for them. I am sure of that. And he doesn't get them ready on the road. The energy is going to be brought immediately. And I just think this year has different vibes. I think Singletary wants it even more from a guy who just seems that he's found a way to take over each game. It seems that he has played. And it is going to be very difficult if you can't stop Singletary. He is going to make you pay. But I think we're going to see a little bit more with Hampton. Can they unlock something in terms of that passing offense, which we have seen grown throughout the years? So I think Rob Hanna has some good play calls stored up there for a game like this that he's been saving for this opportunity. And I think Hampton County is going to be more ready and more motivated. And if they can make the least number of mistakes in terms of making solid, quick tackles on defense and just avoiding miscues on the offensive side, if Singletary is able to get some running lanes or find some open seams down the field, I like Hampton County's chances of finding a way to control the game. And I'm really feeling good. I feel that Hampton is going to come out strong and come out motivated on the road against this Manning team. I think it's going to be a close game again, but I have a good feeling that Hampton is going to do enough, and I think that defense is going to stand tall, make a big stop or two at the end to shut the door and give the Hurricanes a one possession win to send them on to the lower state finals and in 2A. I am feeling good about this Hampton County Hurricanes team. I will take the Canes over the Monarchs in another thriller between these two teams.
And perhaps a Rafe Sullivan game-winning field goal. Who knows?
I would love to see that. But,
I love Rafe. Good kid. What do you got, Max? Marcus has gone on walkabout.
Yeah, I think obviously, like we've said, this
Had a bit of
Manning
laundry
team,
to do.
yeah, this Manning team's no slouch. I mean, that's clear and obvious. You'll look at their schedules, see the wins that they've had. They've had some impressive wins, including last week against Timberland. Really, really strong win against what was a really solid Timberland team last week. I think for Hampton County, I think the thing that comes to their mind is revenge. They want this one, and I think when Hampton comes in as hungry as they are, and when they're playing a game as hungry as they are, I mean, we saw what they did against Barnwell this year. They wanted some revenge against Barnwell for what happened last year on their home turf. They got the job done against Barnwell, who's been understaffed. But this Manning one feels a bit different for me because I think Hampton's coming into this game, knowing what they have to do. But they also know that, a lot of these players remember what happened last season when they played Manning and how, devastating it was for their season to end the way that it did. And I think this time Singletary, he's determined. He doesn't want to be injured in this game. He wants to be able to play the whole game and, be able to do the best that he can. And I think he will. And I think, honestly, I think if Singletary was in that game the entire way last year, I think Hampton County could have won that game. I think they would have won that game had Singletary been, not injured in the game. I like Hampton County's chances. This team's played great through the playoffs. I mean, they've been really impressive through the playoffs. Not many teams have been able to stop them. And, and I look back at their season, and I think those games against Bluffton, against Hilton Head, have really helped them in terms of, getting, prepared against much more challenging teams. I think that out of region, non-division schedule that they had this season, I think really helped them. And I like their chances. I'm going to go with Hampton County in this one, but I don't think it's a blowout. I think this is down to the wire.
Oh yeah, I mean we're past that stage.
Well, yeah, we've seen it. I mean, there's always a possibility that it could. If one team gets on a roll, it's not out of the realm possibility that we saw when. Well, I remember Beaufort blew out West Florence in that lower state championship game, and
well, I mean, if
I'm just saying we see blowouts all the time. If one team gets in a
run, no, you're right. You're right.
That's true. But
you're right.
My idea is if they roll out, it's because Jalen Singletary's put up another 200 plus rushing yards in the game. I think, and I think he can actually do that against this Manning team. I think he has a good chance of really giving Manning some issues. So I think for that reason, if he can stay healthy the entire game, which I think he can, give me Hampton County. I think they win this one.
I like Hampton a lot too, guys. I mean, JJ, you know better than all of us because you were there. Just how difficult that was for them last year, and this team has the fuel. And obviously, last year's team and in past years, they've been great. Obviously, I've been one that I've been kind of late to the Hampton party, so to speak. But by game after game, I'm getting more on board. So in future years, if they've got a game, at Hilton Head or at Bluffton or at Beaufort, whatever, I'm going to try to get our WHHI team there if we can. I really think that this team has a lot of grit, a lot of determination. Obviously, they've got star athletes everywhere. You could say this for all the teams that we're going to be, kind of favoring this weekend and whatnot. But I just think that same situation as last year, going back to where you got beat and looking to rebound. This team obviously has a lot going for it. Manning's a very good program as well, but it just seems like everything is fitting perfectly for Hampton, the way they can just put up points, run the football, play tenacious defense. I like them, but like I think we're all kind of in agreement. I do not think this is going to be a blowout by any stretch. I think we are in for a dogfight. Oh, yeah. And if you're planning on being there, JJ, I think you're going to be in for a heck of a game.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it because
I really like
a wrestling match.
Oh my god! Chance for this to be
the Houston Texans. Wow.
Pick 6.
Oh
wow!
I still got Mizzou basketball on there.
Right.
throttling South Dakota.
So I'm going with Hampton. I'm gonna keep it close. No more than a touchdown. I like the Hurricanes.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I expect it to be a close game, but I'm just saying that hopefully it would be on the Hampton side of things that they would have a chance, especially
If
if
it
it's
extends itself.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible, but yeah, no, I think it'll be just very similar to last game, and I think it could go either way. I mean, who can take good care of the ball down the stretch? Who's able to make the big plays? I mean, it could come down to the 2 or 3 in the end. I think that's how close these two teams are matched as we head into a game like this. So I think that it's very slim the difference in talent between these two squads, but I do think that Singletary is the best player in the field by a decent margin. So if he's able to get opportunities, he's the guy who needs to be that difference maker. But Hampton does have some others, and they have some grit and veteran leadership on the defensive side, and that could come to a big play as well as this game goes along. But I'm excited. I hope we'll have someone there to keep us updated.
I believe Jeremy Orr. I believe he and Pops are making the ride out.
Yeah,
check it out.
So
if not, we'll have others on hand.
The
But,
other thing,
this Manning team's tough. That Canty kid is tough back. He's a load.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I was going to say is I feel like going into that game last year, I think apart from, obviously Jalen got injured during the game, but I think they were, a bit beaten up too going into that game as a whole. I don't see that as much in this Hampton County team this season. I think they're not, as beaten up as they were going into that game last year. I think they have a more healthy team going into this game against Manning, and that makes all the difference, of course. Especially when you have a Jalen Singletary who clearly looks 100% right now with how he's been playing the last 2 games. So
he's already over 2,000 rushing yards for the season.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And has 39 total touchdowns.
Oh,
bananas.
Yep.
Should be a good one tomorrow night in Manning. If you're making the trip, let us know. We should have boots on the ground, but we can never get too many perspectives on what's happening up there. And then we've got one other. So we're all on the Canes. Are we all going to go with the other home team? We got the Seahawks in the nest against Gray Collegiate. This is a really interesting matchup. The Cat has made a disaster of himself.
It sure is.
Gray is a team that is always going to be a contender. Hilton Head is trying to establish itself as that kind of program. And Marcus and Max, you'll be on the call, so I'll let you guys kind of lead us off here, and then Wes and I will make our picks. But Marcus, you're on play-by-play. What you mentioned keys to the game. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I got, a ton of stuff that I was even kind of taking a look at as the show was opening up. Obviously, both teams score a boatload of points, averaging 41.5 each one of them. With the fact that this is a home game for Hilton Head, I think it's going to be easier for them to get out to
you're right. They
really
each average exactly 41.6 points per game.
Gray averages about 10 or so less given up, which could be a problem for Hilton Head if they don't get off to a good start offensively. The numbers actually favor Hilton Head on the ground as opposed to the air. Gray is a better passing team. They have a couple of quarterbacks that are quite good. We think of Derek Ranajetsky, of course, being the main guy. But don't forget, Jeremiah Walters can play quarterback too. So if there's a situation where things have to get a little bit creative with BJ Payne and Jalen Whitlow, doing a little bit of a package maybe for Jeremiah, they can do that as well. Obviously, we tend to look at what Hilton Head does on special teams and particularly kicking the football, and they have an edge there. They're going to have to get good field position, and certainly the crowd will be involved. The defense, Gray's going to have to be ready for what Hilton Head can bring, but Hilton Head's got to be ready from the get-go at home. That home field advantage is going to be big for them. Really looking forward to this matchup. One of the biggest, I would say, for sure, in my many years of doing play-by-play, doesn't matter what sport it is, one of the biggest games that I have ever called will be tomorrow night. I am really looking forward to this one and to see a quality program like Gray. And I've got great stuff from their athletic director as well as from their head coach. And obviously, we know what Hilton Head's going to be up to and what they can do, having seen them 4 or 5 times on the year. This is going to be a fun one tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it.
I may have to, how
even by
sometimes
the
you go to a
numbers.
baseball game and you bring the earphones in, you listen to Vince Scully or Bob Uecker or whatever the best broadcasters, while you're watching the game. I may have to, watch
Tune in on
it
the
live.
sidelines.
Yeah, because I want to hear some of Marcus's call. Because man, I mean, you talk about the emotion for a game like this. The thing I love about Tyrion Marcus Walsh is he has that enthusiasm and emotion more so than several
energy.
other. Yeah, the energy is palpable, and that is what I enjoy about and I've used some of those elements in improving my calls in terms of what I do for USCB. So just wanted to say, really enjoy hearing your broadcast on both WHI and on Buford Zone. So, and I'm sure you're looking forward to the opportunity to call a game like this.
This is going to be a fun one for sure.
Max, your initial thoughts that we haven't got to use. Your initial thoughts, just doing some research and prepare yourself to join as a color analyst tomorrow.
And a fine one at that, might I add. Had a blast working with him last week, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
I'm just a man, guys. Nothing more special than that. But I look at this game and I have my worries with Hilton Head. I've already mentioned, this week, I'm a little worried about the offensive line.
Yes.
But I think if they can hold Gray Collegiate, which, by the way, like Marcus mentioned, absolute unit on defense in Gray Collegiate the entire season. I think it really lands on how the running game goes for Hilton Head. And, of course, we know they have that duo of Javen Risher and Thaddeus Sarnecki. If those two can get going and be able to open up the gameplay for Hilton Head, I think they're going to be okay in this game. But, again, this is a down-to-the-wire kind of game between these two programs. Someone who's been among the contenders for the last few seasons in Gray Collegiate and someone who's trying to become a contender year in and year out in Hilton Head. I think, this is, if you want to become someone that people consider a contender, this is the game to do it if you're Hilton Head. I think I like both teams because they are both very strong teams, and I've been keeping an eye on Gray Collegiate throughout the year. Been able to watch some film on them. I'm going to watch some film tomorrow before I head over to the Nest. And I just, again, down the wire kind of game. This is a defensive battle. And that's the other thing. I think Hilton Head can, on defense, I think they can hang with just about anyone. And I think they proved that last week against Wilson, who is a very strong receiving core. And I just think if their secondary can hold like they did last week in the second half, I think they can hang with Gray Collegiate, but it just depends on how these defenses play.
I think, in my eyes, it comes down to just the execution of Renishevsky, because I feel like they're going to count on him. He's going to be counted upon to make some big throws in this game. I think you're going to find a way to key in on Zarnecki. That is something that Gray Collegiate is going to try to stop. But Hilton has been predicated on that run game of Thad the Impalers, I believe. Is that what you called him?
The Impaler,
That's who he is.
And that was the one that he said he liked the best in his interview with Jeff.
But I mean, Zarnecki's been the guy carrying the rock. Gray Collegiate has tried to establish an opportunity to stop that early, as the Seahawks are going to look to get some good groundwork from him. But I just feel like you're going to have to rely on your quarterback to make some throws and make some good reads. And if you can avoid making any costly mistakes and put together some good drives early, I think Hilton will be in good shape, because I just really feel good about this defense. And, this is a great collegiate team that has the capability of scoring on any play. That is how prolific they are.
Yeah.
But I at the same time, I think Hilton Head has learned a lot. I think, and I think really what showed me a lot is how they respond in that Wilson game. Like, they got behind early, but then they didn't allow any more points the rest of the way. And And I think BJ Payne, that coaching staff, they know how to adjust. They know how to, find ways to improve as the game goes along and look to switch things up and just really do a good job to keep the other team on their toes. And that's exactly what's going to come down to, I think, in terms of this defense stepping up and making some big plays, whether it's Josh Bigger, Will Jimenez, or even some guys who play both ways, like Arisha or Zarnecki, who, and Jeremiah Walters had that big fumble recovery.
Yep.
They have guys who are gonna, especially now it's playoffs, they're gonna be on the field all game long and find ways to make significant contributions any which way. So, you rely on your veterans, you rely on the guys that brought you there, and you don't forget about some other guys who have come up big. And I'm talking about some others who have really stepped up in the receiving game, like a guy like Caden Stewart, who sometimes we forget about, but he's second to team in receiving yard. I mean, he has been impressive
in huge lately,
big catches in important
He's got
situations.
wheels, man.
He's
fly.
got some good
he can
well.
move.
But yeah, I mean, I think a lot rests in the hands of your quarterback in a game like this, and I think you have to have ultra amount of trust in what you're going to get from a guy like Ranishevsky tomorrow night.
And I think that's a big key for me. Like
special teams too, guys.
And then
there's two
Sexton,
things that stand out to me that are like really big keys. We've talked a little bit about Hilton Head's given up some stuff in the kicking game, right? Gray's got some explosiveness there. They've got a kick return touchdown and a punt return touchdown this year. They've also got defensive scores. So they've got athletes who can break one. So Hilton Head has to be really good on the kick coverage and not give anything up big there. The other thing is, you got a freshman quarterback on the other side, and he's been tremendous. Xavier Wright, I believe is the name. He's been tremendous. He's only thrown 3 picks, but all season. But I think that's a spot that Hilton Head might be able to take advantage of. Is that freshman quarterback? If you can show him some different looks on defense, get some pressure on him, which they do well, and you might force him to throw one up, and Bubba or one of those guys might come up with the big pick as he tries to force one to his star receiver. So, I think if Hilton Head can lock down those two things, the kicking game, the return game, shutting that down and then getting pressure on the quarterback and forcing him into some
especially if you rattle him early in the game when you're looking at a 14 or 15-year-old kid who he's a terrific player.
A lot on his shoulders. He's really good.
Yeah, that is a tough environment, just a tough assignment for him to go on the road in a big playoff game like this, and sometimes a team that you could underestimate. And I think that could play into Hilton Head's hands if they're able to do a good job of making him uncomfortable and making him nervous in the beginning portion of this game. I think that defense can really have a big time boost if they were able to just get in his face and make him a little uncomfortable, which will allow the Seahawks to potentially blow up some plays in the backfield, get some stops, and give opportunities for your offense. So this is gonna be a tough game. Gray Collegiate is a tremendous team. They're a top 5 team in this classification for a reason, but this is just a big time statement game for this program. If they're able to get it done, I mean, this really shows that this team has arrived and they're ready to compete with anyone. But to have this game at home, and you've earned it. I mean, this is why the regular season is so important, to get that 2 seed. Make sure you play well enough to get those boosts in your RPI and to host a game like this, because it matters. It's a decently long trip for Gray Collegiate, and you have the fans behind you here at the Nest. I think that matters, and that I think that's going to bode well for Hilton, because it's for a freshman quarterback. It's one thing having to play at home, but having to go on the road in a playoff game like this, that's a tough assignment. That's a tough
21 touchdowns and 3 picks for Wright on the season. The other thing that I forgot to add, and Max didn't mention it, so I will right now, is that both teams have played 3 of the same opponents. They both have played James Island. They both have played Aiken, and they both have played South Aiken.
Yes,
so
same result.
That's going to be very interesting to see how they kind of combat each other, because they've seen a lot of the same types of skill. That's going to be something to definitely take an eye on too, which a lot of folks don't necessarily think about. Really digging deep into the weeds of a playoff matchup like this.
Right. Yeah, it's unusual that you have that much transitive property.
Yeah, 3 games is a
to work
lot,
with.
especially like this deep into it in the third round.
I tell you, there's a
But
couple results that stand out to me
24
there.
to 8. Yeah, so 24 to 8. That was the
49-0
score.
against Gilbert is the one that impresses me and worries me, because shutting out that Gilbert team.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's the Gilbert team that knocked out Bluffton. I mean, that is.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that great defense against that Hilton Head offensive line. I'm just a little concerned
that
about
is the one concern, especially with some of the injuries. Like obviously, it's going to take quite an effort from Renishevsky in a game like this, where you're missing some guys up front, and that is a little bit of a concern, especially against a great team that has shown they could really stifle opponents when they're able to get that presence defensively. So just as the pressure of Hilton Head's going to have to really clean up and do well on the defensive side of the field, and you just can't get behind by a large margin early, because it's this great collegiate team. They are a legit squad defensively. They did go 28 to Hartsville, but I'm not sure if that was earlier in like end of the game situation. But I like I said, I think that Hilton has a path to win this game, and I think it starts with just pressuring and making and just wrecking havoc in terms of the defensive side of the field, and making your opposition make some mistakes, or at least pressuring them into making mistakes, which I think Hilton can do.
You going with the alma mater?
It's very tempting to pick the Seahawks in a game like this. Great collegiate, like I said, they are a state championship worthy team, and they've really shown that by the way they've played, especially in the defensive side. There have been some games where they have given up a decent amount, but other than that, this team has been very consistent. Hilton has been really lacking up front, just injury wise. I mean, that is a major concern. I think special teams, you definitely consider that as something that they need to clean up, and they've been working on that. But you look at this Hilton Head team, and you just look at the poise and the leadership, and just that readiness of a guy like a Derek Renishevsky into a game like this. All he has done this season is deliver in the clutch in every big moment this year. You look back at the Bluffton game, that touchdown to Jeremiah Walters. You look at some third down, fourth down conversions when you got into the playoffs. This guy just has that knack of delivering at a higher level than I have seen anyone else do, at least very recently, especially in a Seahawks jersey on this football team. And man, I mean, you have a doodle guy in Jarnecki. You look at what Jeremiah Walters has done this year. The core of this team, they are more than prepared to take on a great collegiate team with talent across the board. And I feel that this defense, after giving up just 7 against Wilson and really pitching a shot the rest of the way, this defense is primed. This defense is ready. They are going to do a terrific job, in my opinion, of just making it uncomfortable for Gray to do what they do best. And if you can take, just some energy out of Xavier Wright in that group to start this game, and find a way to pick up either a big turnover or just, an important stop to get your offense a chance, that is going to be everything in this game. And I don't think it's going to be that high scoring. I think both defenses are legit. It could be somewhere in the mid-20s. And
I'm looking at yes, that's what I'm looking at.
I think
like
so.
Yeah, but
20s type of thing.
When it comes down to it, I'm feeling good that this Hilton Head defense is going to make some signature plays. I don't know who it's going to be, whether it's Bigger, whether it's Jimenez, or whether it's Fat. I mean, it seems like it's a different guy every time who knows how to step up. The secondary has been excellent. If they can do a good job limiting those explosive plays and come up with a big, turnover of their own in terms of a forced turnover in this game, I like Hilton Head to come away with what would be a program-defining win, and not just the biggest win in BJ Payne's history, but it would be one of the biggest wins in program history if the Seahawks were able to do it. I think Renishevsky comes up big with a couple of clutch plays. I think it comes down to a late 4th down, and Renishevsky is able to complete it for the go-ahead score late, and the defense holds the last possession. Hilton Head wins it by 4. The Seahawks
24-20.
There you go. I just feel, but maybe Bo Sexton makes a big kick. Don't forget about him. He has been stellar. He has not missed.
He makes the kick that makes it 4 instead of 3, so they have to try to get a touchdown instead of a field goal, and the defense stops them.
I'm going Hilton Head. The Sunbury Collegiate Advanced Lower State Championship in Class 4A.
Max, real quick, have you heard anything about Crockett? I'll check. I'll check with Sarah tomorrow.
Heard about Tubbs? Crockett and Tubbs, get it? Miami Vice.
No, I haven't heard anything as of yet, but more than likely he is out.
I'll check with her tomorrow because we'll definitely let everybody know. And I just want to say too that when I said that I agreed with Wes, I agree that this would be a program.
Right.
No, I was tracking.
Yeah, that's a defining moment.
I'm making sure everybody else is tracking.
I was tracking.
Because I don't make a pick.
I'll back you up on that one.
In secret.
I feel like the smart pick, like the objective pick, is probably Gray, just because of how much they've got on defense and just the athletes and the injuries to Hilton Head. But there are probably injuries on the other side that we don't know about too, because we don't follow them day in, day out. That's part of the game. But what I keep coming back to is, hey, every time we've thought that Hilton Head defense was going to be challenged, they have risen to the occasion, and they've really done a good job against the pass. I think the combination of the pressure that they get on the quarterback and the excellent coverage that they provide downfield is I don't know about unmatched, but there's not a lot of teams who do both of those things as well as they do. Right through 2 of his 3 picks last week. He only had 1 before last week, and he threw 2. And so, that's going to be in his head a little bit. I mean, that's real. You haven't been throwing them all year, and then you throw 2 in a game. I think if they can get heat on him, he's going to make some mistakes, and they can capitalize. And that's the kind of team they've been, right? They capitalize on your mistakes. They make you pay. They do the little things. They execute, and then they take advantage.
They force mistakes.
So I feel like I feel the vibes, as you said, Wes. Like, this team feels special. They feel a little different. The next man up mentality is real, and those guys that are stepping in on the offensive line are going to give you everything they got, and they're going to scheme it a little different too, knowing what they got. Gray knows that they got guys out. They're gonna bring a jailbreak, and I look for a lot of middle screens and quick dump offs. And Ranishevsky, I trust him to make the right decision and put the ball where it needs to be and not try to force it. And I'm not sure I trust the freshman quarterback just yet on this kind of stage. Although he looks like he's going to be potentially a Division I quarterback. I mean, he's legit. But I'm saying the growing pains, everybody's got to struggle sometime, and maybe tomorrow night is his time and his superhero origin story. But I like the Seahawks at home, and I like that 24-20 type of game as well. I think both defenses are going to bring it. Could even be a little lower. Could be like a 17-14 potentially.
Yeah,
but,
I don't.
Which means
they'll
probably hit the over. I'll probably hit the over tomorrow.
I was gonna say, because Marcus had already mentioned it at the beginning of the show, when it comes to this game, people show up to this game, please. This is too important of a game. The whole Hilton Head Island community should be at this game. Think of it as a Bluffton Hilton Head type game. That's how important it is.
I'm showing up no later than 3:00. Y'all can do it.
Please. Yeah, exactly.
Back in the day, when I was a student, one of my friends, we used to tailgate before every home game, and I
love that.
I feel like that's kind of. I mean, some schools will still do it, but that just feels like it's a big time game, and just I'm going to get there early. just soak it in, because like you said, Marcus, it is very rare, very rare to see any of our teams like just have a home game at this late. I mean, it just shows that if you have a home game this late in the year, you've done something this season. So,
Yep.
It's there for the taking, and I hope that the energy will be brought by the outset, because that's very important when you're able to have those good vibes going early, and I expect to see it over there at Hilton. And so I'm pumped. It should be a tremendous evening, and like I said, at the top, just like I said at the top of the show, I got good vibes about the opportunity the Seahawks team is going to have tomorrow night.
Yeah, man, I do as well. I hope they can pull it off. We hope at least one of those teams keeps going, because otherwise it'll end Saturday for us, football season. At least we know we have that one on deck Saturday if we do lose them both Friday night. But Colleton Prep versus Williamsburg, second time we've seen this matchup in 4 years. Williamsburg won it the last time around. I have some interesting videos for you guys. Let me see here. All right, so here's the first one, and it will look familiar to you, except this one goes all the way through. SCISA sent me a friend request. Interesting. So this is the same one we've seen before, except this one goes to completion, where you see that Cale Owens made a great throw, but Perry Corbett, he goes by Perry, by the way. He's the one who really made the play. He mossed that man. Here it comes again. Absolutely mossed him. Going up top, got it. And Scott Owens sent me that, and also told me that this has been a thing. Perry bails Cale out whenever he needs to be bailed out, all the way back to 8th grade when they were playing Dorchester Academy. And here we go, Cale to Perry, touchdown. They beat Dorchester, 8th grade. So that connection has been going strong for a long time. And both those boys were among the 8th graders who were wearing the jersey on the sidelines for the state championship 4 years ago with the varsity boys, seeing what it looks like up close and personal. So they are uber prepared for this moment. They've been waiting for their chance to get on this stage, and I'm really excited for them. I think it's going to be a great game, a great matchup. We've seen enough of this Williamsburg team against teams that we're familiar with to have a pretty good feel for what they are. And we've seen them in so many state championship games over the years, against Thomas Hayward, against Colleton Prep, against Hilton Head Christian. So we're very familiar with that program. We know what they are. This is a great matchup. I think it's going to be a close one, just like the other two games. Mistakes, that if you can take advantage of mistakes, that's probably going to be the difference. I've been high on this Colleton team for a long time. I've had a feeling that this one was special. I don't know if it's better than that 2022 team, because that offensive line was unreal. But this group has been very good. Cale Owens makes plays. Tanner Wolf can run the ball. They got some receivers. Corbett is electric. Kincaid is tough. So I feel like a homer because I'm going all home teams. But the way that Thomas Hayward hung with Williamsburg last week, I feel like Colleton Prep is just a better team all around in all facets than Thomas Hayward, and I think they're going to come out with an attitude and with a game plan and do what we've seen them do all year. I'm going War Hawks.
I am too. When you take a look all the way back in August in that game that I was going to attend against
War damn
JP2.
Hawks.
Obviously, I'm gonna be at the game. I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah. Either why.
I was in the middle of making my pick there, Max.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if you're having some issues there, but if you go all the way back to the matchup against JP2 that I was gonna be at back in August,
they got some big dudes on that offensive line, which could cause some issues.
Yeah, Max is not hearing you, Marcus. Marcus was talking.
Oh, was he? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, I was.
Maybe me. Hold on.
Definitely.
I'm gonna I'll
Marcus
let you go.
is talking.
Go ahead. Go ahead. My Wi-Fi is being weird.
Got it. So going all the way back to August when Colleton Prep was taking on JP2, I was gonna be at that game, but but the rain halted my plans and I turned around and headed home. I expected Colleton Prep to win that game. And obviously, JP2, and I even told Robin Zimmerman this on Talk of the Town earlier this week, JP2 had an incredible year, one of the best years that they've had in program history. But ever since that matchup that Colleton Prep lost in their opener to JP2, this team's been on a roll. They have done tremendous things. Obviously, Owens with the ability to do what he can do offensively. JJ, you mentioned a bunch of guys rather on the team. And that's another team in future years that I definitely want to check out, especially if they head a little bit closer to this area. And I think that, like the other two that we already discussed, on our home turf, they are a team that kind of looks like destiny is on their side, and that this is going to be their year. Obviously, they're taking on a great Williamsburg team, but you take a look at what Williamsburg did last year in THA. They played them twice. They knocked them around the first game. Second game, they got knocked around in the final, 23-8. Why not again? This Colleton Prep team seems to be for real. I'm going to take them. I'm going to take the Warhawks for the victory. And like the other games, I think this is going to be really, really tight. I see this game being no more than a touchdown.
Yeah, this game could be maybe the opposite of what I talked about with Hilton and Great Collegiate. I think these offenses are going to put on a show, especially what you saw that College Prep has a chance to do. Hayward was able to put some long runs up on Williamsburg. Williamsburg is a great defense, but you saw what Hayward can do. I think Colleton Prep's offense is at another level, and I think that we could see quite an effort from Cale Owens. I think that he is going to put his best game on display over there at South Carolina State on Saturday afternoon into the early evening, and I think this has all the makings of classic. This Williamsburg team, elite offensive group. They always seem to have guys who can make big time plays and get good chunks of yards to really score quickly and score routinely. But I think Colleton Prep's defense is going to find a way to be the difference in this game. We've seen in the past it's just a really hard nosed group. They're going to fight you. They're going to battle you, and I was just really impressed by what Colleton Prep was able to do late in that game. Even though they did give up that one big score, I thought Colleton Prep's defense was stellar for most of the night against a good Dorchester Academy team. And I trust in that group to make some big plays, because I think that's what it's going to come down to. I have all the confidence in the world that we're going to see a terrific performance from Cale Owens at the offensive side. But if you're able to see some big plays by a defense that's really come in hungry late in the year after a couple of tough performances, that JP2 game comes to mind. But I think you look at what they've done since then. I mean, just 16 points allowed to Dorchester Academy, 28 to lead. I'm sure you could have wanted a better total than that, but the offense was able to take care in that one. But you should see the strides that they have made. Coming back to beating Georgia. Yeah, they came back to win that game, beating Dorchester Academy, showing what they're capable of in that game after losing to them a couple weeks prior. I feel like this Colleton Prep team is playing some great football heading into this ball game. Williamsburg is a great team, though. I could easily see the Stallions just overpowering them and in a way to win it again, just like they did in 22. But I just think this Colleton Prep team, I feel like they're just, they're primed and ready for the opportunity. They do not want to, mostly a different group, but there are seniors who are freshmen then. So there's certainly there might be, some bad taste throughout that group, but. You're going to have to find a way to shut down another Balder, not Conrad Balder this time, but Micah Balder, who is there under center, who continues to be a force at quarterback for them. And you have just a really tough task in Grant Small, who's close to 2,000 rushing yards on the year. So can Colleton Prep stand up defensively? If they will, I think they have a great chance of bringing home a state title back to Low Country. And I believe in that group. I believe that group is going to be able to do a solid job and limiting the damage from a very, very good Williamsburg Academy team. And I just have all the trust, all the faith and a guy like Cam Owens, that he is going to come through in the clutch in what should be a close game and deliver that game go ahead score and be that difference in the end. So I'm feeling good. This is going to be Colleton Prep's year. They have been trending in the right direction ever since some tough moments early in the year. They are a completely different team for these last 2 or so weeks, and I think they're going to go in hungry, motivated. They're going to come back. They're going to get the job done this time and get some revenge against the Stallions.
Yeah, man.
And that's
who's left? Maxie.
It's me. Someone's echoing. Is that me?
Yeah, I heard myself coming off somebody, but we're good now.
Oh, okay. Look, I wrote the preview for this game yesterday, and I was doing some research, and this isn't even, I look at this and I say, obviously these two haven't played since the state championship game back in 2022, and the funny thing is, they actually played each other in another state championship game back in 2013 between Colleton Prep and Williamsburg Academy, and the Williamsburg Academy won that one.
Yep.
Third time's a charm for the Colleton Prep Warhawks, and I really do believe that. I think this Colleton Prep team has shown me all season long. Look, this is going to be like the 4th or 5th game I've seen this Colleton Prep team play this year. And every time I've been impressed by them, despite that JP2 game. Apart from that one, other than that, they've been a really strong team. And I've been really impressed with them this year, not just on offense, but on defense too. I mean, from them shutting down Tony O'Banner at the beginning of the year, and being able to shut down Beaufort Academy with the weapons that they have, that they had this season, I guess, being that their season's over. I look at all these games that they've played, but they have never faced this season. They haven't faced a challenge quite like Williamsburg Academy. And I was saying earlier, before I unfortunately interrupted Marcus Walsh because I didn't know he was talking.
All right.
Yeah, no, I was saying that this this offensive line for Williamsburg, from the film I've seen, they are an absolute unit on the offensive line. So again, kind of a game where the battles are won in the trenches. The question I have is Colleton Prep's defensive line going to be able to blast through that offensive line and be able to put some pressure on their quarterback in Heathcock, the quarterback for the Stallions? And I mean, this is another down the wire kind of game. I think I think this is a very strong Williamsburg team with a program that is very much so a storied program over the years. I think this is going to be an interesting game. I think if Colleton Prep's defense can hold down on Williamsburg, I think it gives the offense a chance. I think Cale Owens is going to do his thing. He's going to be the leader that we have seen him be this entire season. And I think Colleton Prep gets the job done, but I think it's a field goal kind of game between these two teams. And go Warhawks, but this is going to be their toughest challenge of the year.
All right, there you go. Was that a Warhawks pick, by the way?
That was a Warhawks pick. I think they win
I thought
by 3.
So. War Damn Hawks. I'm
War
Damn Hawks.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make a T-shirt. War Damn Hawks.
I was gonna say some of the old school, long time Colleton Prep fans definitely remember the 2013 state championship game.
Oh, for sure.
When Williamsburg won 26-13.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of those because there's a Stricklander, at every school in SCISA.
Yeah, actually, I had to ask
everything that ever happened.
I had to ask Stricklander because the website that we use to look up all the South Carolina football history and stuff like that. I saw it and it said neutral next to the game, and I was like, wait a second. So I had to text Stricklander, and I was like, I have a question I need to ask you. And so he was like, yeah, fire away. And I was like, 2013 state championship game, 1A. I was like, was that not Colleton Prep in Williamsburg? And he was like, yeah, it was. And he was like, great, good call on that one, because I would have completely forgotten about that if you had not mentioned it to me. So we had to do some digging on that one. But yeah, the 26-13 win for Williamsburg back in 2013 at the state championship game, which was at Benedict College Benedictine College in Columbia.
Benedictine.
Benedict. Yeah.
I'm curious. What's Manning? What is their mascot? Yeah,
their mascot.
The Monarchs.
The Monarchs. Yes.
The Manning Monarchs.
Yeah.
Because when you take a look at our championship game between Williamsburg and Colleton Prep, you've got the Warhawks. The game that Max and I will be at, we're seeing the Seahawks against the War Eagles.
Correct.
For those of you that were interested in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Monarch royalty is going down on Friday. I can tell you that.
Yeah. We're down with Monarchs, War Eagles, and Stallions this week. Down with you,
man. One army.
You're our heels this
week.
We've had, all right. So
rough go against the Stallions, whether it's been South Point or Williamsburg.
We have
championship games.
Oh, good point.
Hayward had their number though.
Hayward did. Yes.
Hayward had their number. That's what worries me with with Williamsburg. I think is they're good, but if Hayward was able to hold them down as long as they did, man, what will Colleton Prep be able to do?
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's shift gears and talk a little hoops before we get out of here and call it a night. Sand Sharks were home in the Cove last night. Oh yeah, we haven't done sponsor reads, have we? Shout out to our presenting sponsors, Mickelson Law Firm and WHHI TV. Mickelson Law Firm, our OGs, our original sponsor since 2017. They've been supporting us, and they hit us with a re-up. They're in the Lowco or the All-Star Sponsor Program once again this year, and we appreciate all their support. Our official real estate closing attorney and presenting sponsor of our Hilton Christian Academy coverage. They can help you with all your legal needs at Mickelson Law Firm. And WHHI TV, our great partner in local sports, Marcus Walsh, great play-by-play guy over there, doing a little bit of everything. Got his hand in all the pots over at WHHI, which seasons everything, makes it taste great. So no, we love our partnership with you guys. Just made my
likewise, buddy.
Go again this morning. And we appreciate your support and partnership in local sports coverage. So talking a little hoops, USCB in action last night. Both games unusual. The women got out big. They were up 19-2 early, up 18 midway through the second. Florida Tech chipped away, and took the lead, went up 7 in the fourth quarter. But USCB able to dig deep, some big plays from Janiah Hayward and Tanaya Bowman down the stretch. Sammy Barnaro was on fire from 3 last night, and Lydia Gattosi just gives you everything she's got every night. They were able to pull it out. I was really impressed with the medal to not fold the tent after giving up that big lead.
Yeah, both these games seem to be very similar. Like they each took a decently sized lead and then saw it slip away. But great resiliency late from that USCB women's team. But yeah, Bardonaro with 20 to lead the way, scorching hot from 3. If they can get that kind of shooting in them, some other production from her, they're really going to appreciate what she's going to do this year. But then Tanaya Bowman, just really solid, making a lot of big things happen. Assisting on a couple of big buckets. And then Carolina Correa off the bench with a nice 4-assist game, and maybe not the scoring, but good to see her make some impacts.
I like her energy a lot.
Yeah,
she brings it, man. She comes in there with a little attitude, plays hard. I like her. I like that team, and then the guys. Weird game for the guys.
It was a weird game
because they also they kind of. It was back and forth early. Florida Tech came out and had a good game plan and played well early on. And then USCB started to wear them down, and pull away. And you thought, well, this is just going to turn into a laugher. They were up 18.5. And then Florida Tech comes out with like a 14-0 run right out of the gate and gets right back in it. Then it was a back and forth game, like 10 lead changes in a short span there. And then USCB was able to kind of, with the line changes and the legs late, start to pull away again and win by 5. But, they went on an absolute drought to start the second half, and they still scored 98.
They scored 9 points in like the first 8 minutes of the half. You just don't see that from this USCB team. Uncharacteristic offensive dry spell. Against the team, they should be putting up more points. I mean, they still scored 98 points in the game, but it's It's just a matter of when, you can be streaky sometimes, especially when you're a team that will shoot the three ball a good amount, and that's part of the game. But you look at a reliable player when you need a bucket, and both Dominic East and Hudson Norton were important, but really Norton, I felt like, man, how important has he been? He only played 15 minutes in this game. He didn't start, but 6 rebounds. The efficiency was just through the roof.
Yeah.
What he was able
it
to
was
do.
it was a Huddy night. It was a Huddy game.
Yeah.
He's such a reliable player for this team. I love watching. It seems like when they need a bucket, Hudson Norton seems to always deliver. I'm quite impressed with him. And then Dom Eason, doing his thing, making big plays happen.
That's a man.
And then
how about Mini Dom, Ish Rashid? He's like Dom, but just scaled down a tiny bit. Like you drag the corner on Dom just 2 inches down, and he got a little bit skinnier. But like they even look the same in the profile. Their shot looks very similar. They actually fooled me one time. It was Ish. I didn't realize he had checked in and Dom had checked out, and I said Dom, and then I was like, no, that's Ish, because he didn't have his back to me, didn't see his number. But I mean, he's like a scaled down version of him, but he's electric. Colleton brought some big energy in the post. Kev Price is just he's just such a mature player. He's so patient. He's 6'2", but he plays like he's 6'8" because he's so patient when he gets the ball in the paint. He'll just hulk over it, and let the defense fly over him, and then lay it in. And then the point guard, Kilminster, from College of Charleston, an Australian kid.
Yeah.
He is really good.
So good.
He steps into those Ollie Relat size shoes very well. And he's going to be a major playmaker for them. And then Dylan Lewis is always kind of a unsung hero in my mind. He does so many things. So I mean, this roster is constructed very well. And then Jamaica Adair, he only played a few minutes. He's the 5'11" freshman prep school guy. He only played a few minutes, but they put him in when the offense was lost, and he went and he found his offense. He went and he banged a three. He got to the rack. He made things happen off the dribble, and then they kind of got out of it after that and got back in the rhythm. So I thought that was key and just a brilliant way to use him, in early season game, to just light the fire, because he's afraid of nothing. He's going to go. He's going to get shots. You can bet on that. So man, they were fun to watch. It was scary when they let them back in it. But it gave you a taste of what we're going to see this year.
Yeah, and I think the thing for me is 98 points. Yeah, that's great. They allowed 93. I think that was my biggest concern last night. Was the defense.
That's what you get.
Early season. But that's early season basketball right there. I mean, we've seen it before with this USCB team. They will start out great on offense, and defense is kind of there, but not really. And then it really starts to show up as you get into the beginning of.
I think the telling sign is what we're going to see this weekend heading into Augusta, because that's when things really start to ratchet up in terms of intensity. I believe both teams are on the road for a couple of tournament events coming up around this thanks. Although the women have
I think the women just have a one-off at Barton. The guys played twice in Alabama this weekend.
Okay, but the women have a day game on Tuesday, it appears.
Right. And then they play out of town in a tournament next weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're mostly, other than that Tuesday afternoon game for the women, no more home games until December 10th when it's the Ville comes to the Cove.
That should be electric. Augusta has been a great opponent in terms of intensity. They've had some including I think the one that comes to mind is the first Peach Belt game for the men, who won it in dramatic fashion. It was a barn burner that night.
Got to see our friend Timmy last night, our favorite ref, the tall, bald-headed fella that does pool shark videos on YouTube, and now has his new side venture. He's in the boiled peanut business with his business called Shark Nuts. Shark Nuts with a Z.
Nuts. That's a great name. I love that.
That's the name of his.
Hey man, if you want to sponsor
his YouTube
us,
is the
do.
Pool Shark, and so now he's got Shark Nuts.
Hey man, hey, we're looking for sponsors. If Shark Nuts wants to join in as a sponsor, I'm all
we
for
definitely got to get Shark Nuts.
By the way, side note from that game. Congrats once again to the men's golf team getting the rings at halftime.
Yes, that's right.
And McLean, the women's individual champion, first peach belt titles for the Sand Sharks for both the individual women and the men's team taking titles, including men's individual as well. So I got to see one of those rings up person. Oh.
Yeah, they're nice.
They're pretty,
awesome.
Pretty sweet. That should motivate the basketball guys to go try to get one of their own. You know who else? Who else got to see one of those rings up in person? Is Jeff Riley, because he got an exclusive. He told me with two of the golfers last night.
I'm with Tyler and Alfie from the men's golf team, and they're champions, right?
Yeah, we are. I mean, conference is a great thing to win, and I mean, we couldn't do it without the rest of the team. I mean, it's only me and Tyler here, but the rest of the team had such a big impact throughout practice and playing all season. It was great. I mean, Tyler can even tell you more. Like, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it was definitely an enjoyment with the team. I think we put our best effort in, and some of the guys that aren't here anymore played well. But no, it was definitely a good time.
What was your favorite moment of that season?
Home tournament was
home tournament.
Winning home tournament with the team was a really good thing. I mean, everyone gets to play home tournament, so you have 11 guys competing alongside each other. I mean, to be able to have 12 other teams come out to our home course and compete, it was great. I mean, you don't often get that experience to play alongside all 11 guys, and I mean, it was so much fun.
Yeah,
so, do you guys have like a bond together?
Oh, definitely, yeah, we definitely have a bond. I mean, outside of golf, we hang out, enjoy ourselves, go play pool on the weekends, which is fun. That's good team bonding.
That's cool. Yeah. Could you show the rings for the?
There we go.
You should show it.
There
this
we
is
go.
the rings they won.
Golly.
Yeah, that's nice.
Those are sick.
Nice.
All right,
so we all got an up close look.
All right, back to you.
Here we go.
Gotta love it.
Awesome.
Jeff Riley, always looking for the interview. He's always got Kevin Libby there, ready to photog for him.
Hey, basketball teams, if you're watching this for whatever reason, look at that ring. That could be you come next year.
If the price is right. Just kidding.
If the price,
If the price of your working is right.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
Yeah, unfortunately, some of those guys who helped win that championship, as they alluded to, made their way to greener pastures afterwards. The old transfer portal giveth, and the transfer portal taketh away. Corey Cottrell, he'll go fill it back up with more international guys who can stripe it out there, and they got a great thing going with that program. I've been on the record for years that men's golf would be the first national championship in USCB history, and I thought it was going to happen back in the late 2010s. Didn't quite come through, but now I'm not so sure. I think Ronnie Fudala might get one before men's golf does. That man is motivated.
Yeah,
he is motivated.
I'm sure he is. I don't blame him. I think a lot of I agree. I think a lot of people are as motivated as he is, because I think we all believe this is a program that has built so quickly. Not just men's, but women's,
it's just
too,
the reality is if you can build a program that can win the Peach Belt Conference, then you have a program that can win a national championship.
Yeah,
it's kind of like being an SEC football team. If you can win that league, you can win it all.
Right.
And so I feel like they're knocking on that door.
1 quarter away from winning it last year, despite the fact they couldn't play at the NCAA tournament. I 100% agree with Justin on this one.
Maybe
I really
not this year, but like
I think in the next
and Kev is the only senior on this roster.
Yeah,
is he?
Yeah, I think there's a lot. I didn't know that. By the way, we're gonna have to get our good friend who has been partnering with for a number of years now. But Donald, our good friend at the stats table, we'll have to have him on sometime. And
yeah, we'll have to get Donald back in here. We also are bringing Trip Roberts into the Team Lowco fold. He's excited to jump in when he gets back from Thanksgiving break and help us cover some high school basketball and jump on the show with us. And even said once he gets settled in Alabama for the break, if we want to talk Sand Shark hoops, he'd love to get on with this. So he's doing a great job helping with the broadcast, and he's got good ideas and great energy. So excited to bring him into the mix.
Speaking of basketball, being that we're on this subject, there was some other news that took place this week.
Yes,
there was.
Shared with the rest of you.
Are you talking about this?
Yes. Harry Skinner.
Yes. Oh, I forgot about this.
Is returning to Bluffton for his senior year. Big
news
for Bluffton.
We knew that was a possibility even when he went. If you talk to people about the decision, the whole idea and Bradley Gabriel kind of set it up and encouraged him. You go test the waters and see if this makes sense for you. If it doesn't, you got a place here. Don't worry about it. And so he went and played with that prep school group and got some exposure and got some feedback and saw what it was, and decision was to come back home and finish it out here. And I love that for him. I love that for Bluffton, because the cupboard was going to be a little bare. It was going to be a little bit of a rebuilding year, but now
that changes everything to keep a guy like Harry.
You're gonna have enough guys around. I suspect Carnell's not playing.
I don't know.
I think not.
I wouldn't think so.
Going a little early, but I don't know that for sure. But they won't have.
I mean, who knows?
We'll have some juice, and when you got a guy like that at point guard.
Well, I mean, if Harry's returning, I mean, it could convince. I don't think it will, because I think it's too important for Carnell to sit out for basketball season and get himself ready for football. But I mean, who knows? It may be convincing enough if Harry returns.
No, that's the key. If Harry just finds a way to, it's ultimately has to be the decision. I'm sure the parents are involved and Harry and Carnell himself, because it's a
but it might get ready for he's enrolling early.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into that, and I'm not too versed on how that decision is made on do you sit out your senior year of basketball when you're getting ready to play football, but there's definitely some decisions to be made on that front. But just having Skinner back, that's huge, because he was really that spark offensively, and hard to find the better shooters in this area. Obviously there have been tremendous players like Ty Harpring we got to see yesterday at the game. We got to talk to him a bit, but I mean, Harry is a difference maker out there when he's on his best, and is gonna keep Hilton or keep Bluffton in a couple of big games. And I'm sure he has unfinished business after it kind of. I feel like that team could have gone farther last year in the playoffs. I kind of feel that they have more to prove, and having Harry back there is going to go a long way towards that. So good to see him back for another year, and that really adds the intrigue as we delve into what should be an interesting high school basketball season that we'll get to very soon.
Yeah, Bobcats 10th in the preseason poll in 4A from the South Carolina Basketball Coaches Association. I assume that has Harry baked into it. I don't think they'd have been a top 10 team if they were expecting him to be without him. Hampton 5th in 2A boys, and Darius Brooks, one of the top 5 seniors in Class 2A, which is well deserved. We remember him from when he was a freshman, who was called up from the JV for that Estill playoff run, and just right out of the gate, you were like, "Whoa, where did this cat come from?" His first step is crazy, and he has honed his game. And I look forward to seeing him have a big year for Jay James, who has done a tremendous job since taking over for Roman Gray.
I saw Hampton in the Bluffton Bobcat Classic last year, because I was there like that entire weekend. Hampton, both boys and girls, they got some ballers, and Jay James is a heck of a coach. Look out for Hampton on both
leader
sides.
Of men.
Hey,
he's also the running backs coach, by the way, and they're running.
Well, that says something.
Look out for Hampton, and also look out for Whale Branch too in that region as well, because they've had some solid teams over the years, and I just have a feeling they got a really solid put together team this upcoming season as well.
Look, if Faber can get 10 dudes who are willing to go hard as they can and press on defense, they'll be good. I promise you that.
Yep.
Yeah.
By the way, we have some high school basketball that has just taken place, including one that just got an update on JP2 with a 70-35 win over Bridges Prep. The JP2 boys off to a nice start with Daniel Godson with a 19-point effort, made three three-pointers in the first quarter. Hot shooting from him, and then Sean Phelan, who Marcus, you knew all about his football prowess, and he has turned it on.
Well, I know about his basketball prowess too.
So,
he's a heck of a player on the basketball floor.
Keep your eye on these Golden Warriors because it appears that they could have some intrigue this year, and they've had some intrigue in the past as well.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Bridges,
for Bridges Prep too, because I was about to mention Bridges Prep, and then you just mentioned that score. Because, wow, and I hope that's
Bridges lost a lot last year. They're going to be.
I know they lost a lot this year, but I was hoping they'd bring some kids in this season, and I know they've brought a couple kids.
I didn't really hear about much, but then JP2 girls also had a big one tonight. They played Cross and they won 38-36.
Wow!
Battled to the finish there. Ellie Heathcott with 12 points, 9 boards for JP2. Lauren Majorkowitz, 7 points. Lily Termini, 6. So a gritty team first effort that showcased resilience and determination.
Yep.
Yeah, Karen Floyd's a terrific coach. Great. That's going to be a solid program, and it's SCISA again this year. So watch out for both of those Golden Warriors squads as we get into it. And, we'll be really cranking it up. In the next 2 weeks, as high school basketball really kicks into high gear, really after Thanksgiving is when things start to really amp up, and we get.
Yep, I'll be looking to hit some gyms and kind of get a sense of a few teams before our WHHI schedule comes out. I'll be out of town for a couple of days towards the middle of December, and then we have Christmas, and then things will really get rolling.
Oh yeah.
Well, Holly, actually, I will say this: December basketball is always a lot of fun because we have a bunch of local
tournaments.
Yeah, live tournaments
and Lowco games.
Go on.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of non-conference games between Bluffton and Hardyville and Ridgeland and Beaufort and random stuff like that. I like those. We also have this weekend the Earl Campbell Thanksgiving tournament annual tip-off to Lowco basketball season at Whale Branch. They will start playing at 5:00 on Friday, at 2:00 Saturday afternoon, and at 5:00 Monday night. I know Hardyville plays Royal Live Oaks, the boys, to start off, and then plays Ridgeland, which is weird because we're going to play them twice, home and home. And then I think we play May River in the third game. So, but it's all local teams. So if you just want to go check out hoops,
what are your thoughts
this is the start.
What are your thoughts on the Village, Justin? What do you think they got for men's this season?
I think the guys should be pretty good. They'll be solid. Coach Toomer is obviously a proven coach and a really good one. He's a Morehouse man. He's he's a leader of men, and I'm excited about that. We had a lot of kids out, so I know there's competition for spots and for playing time. And there's definitely athletes back, so if they can buy into playing in a system and play in a certain way, that will bode well. And Coach Toomer knows the style of basketball that's traditionally played in Jasper County, and I think he'll be able to put them in position to be successful. So I expect them to be pretty solid. Girls are still going to be very young. They started a bunch of middle schoolers on varsity last year. So they'll be better, but still very young and work in progress. But I think Coach Q will get them going in that direction. And you've got winnable games in your region with Royal Live Oaks and a couple others that are kind of winnable.
Fortunately, they have Ridgeland and Denmark OR in that region.
Yeah, I think Ridgeland will be I think Ridgeland has a little bit of juice, though. They got some players. Denmark is
Golara.
unbelievable, and Bamberg's usually pretty good too. But
Yeah.
Allendale, we usually can compete with. So we'll see. I mean, work in progress for sure. Wrestling program's coming around. We're getting close to filling a lineup.
Sweet.
We'll debut tomorrow night. Bridges Prep. We're in the tournament there, the JCS Memorial Tournament going off Saturday at Bridges Prep. It's in honor of Josh Shipley, former Bridges wrestler who passed way too soon. And they raise proceeds for American Cancer Society, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So cool event. A lot of local teams in that as well. But we're loaning our mat to them, our new The Ville mat. So we're getting free entry in exchange for the mat rental. But since we got to deliver the mat tomorrow, we're just going to go ahead and wrestle. And I think JP2 and Battery Creek are coming over too. And we're just going to match up as many kids as we can and try to get some experience under our belts for the new kids before we hit it on Saturday. So a lot of stuff going on this weekend, boys. You got wrestling, you got basketball, you got football. You got a softball tournament at Oscar Fraser and Burton Wells. So
yes, indeed,
it's a busy weekend in the local.
Yeah, big Top Gun tournament at Burton Wells.
Yeah, and about that. Burton Wells for the older kids and Oscar Fraser for the younger kids.
Yep,
so we'll be out there. All right, shout out to Hudson Seafood House on the Docks, a great place for seafood, sunsets, and cocktails on Hilton Island, and presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. We had a new episode Tuesday night with the boys back in town, although Rich couldn't hear Curry, which was weird. They could hear each other before the show, but then they couldn't when the show started. Go figure. But we thank Hudson's Seafood House on the Docks for making it all possible, and that's a great place to hang out this weekend if you're on Hilton Head Island. We've also got HHI Windows and Doors. I saw Coach Barron out at the Cove last night supporting his old player Ty Harpering playing for Florida Tech. Ty looked good. It was good to talk with him. He looked strong, physically fit and played well coming off the bench for them. But great to see Coach Barron, and he said business is booming over at HHI Windows and Doors, where they're improving all kinds of views. Of
right down the road from my house too.
Staying busy. And then also Twenge and Twombly. If you need a personal injury attorney in Beaufort, they've got a rare name, but they provide remarkable service at Twenge and Twombly. Also got our official wrestling sponsor, Reverence Wrestling Club, presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind. We're going to have to kick that off next week. And also Jay's Barbershop, our longtime sponsor, the place to be in Ridgeland when you need a haircut or not. Shout out to the boys over at Jay's. Parting thoughts, Marcus Walsh. I'll let you lead us off.
I have a couple quick ones, a few quick ones actually. First off, and you just mentioned to JJ about cancer awareness. You guys see I'm wearing my purple with the alma mater. Couldn't help but notice earlier in the day that today was Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Day. Definitely one of the types of cancers, and I mean all types of cancers are scary for sure, but pancreatic cancer is definitely a very difficult one. It's one that has hit my family as well. I had an aunt that ended up getting it in, I want to say, about 2009, and she was in remission, either remission or cancer free. I'm not exactly sure, but she was predominantly healthy, very healthy for about a year, and then it came back, and it got her really hard, and I think that she lived for maybe about another 6 or so months. And unfortunately, we lost my Aunt Sue in August of 2011. That's the cancer, of course, as well, that Alex Trebek passed away from. So if you have a chance just to throw out some, recognition for the disease, certainly, and certainly if you feel anything unusual, prolonging, get it checked out. Pancreatic cancer is definitely a tough one, for sure. Along that kind of front, I'm watching the Houston Texan Buffalo Bills game, and here's just a memo, especially if you're going to be running it all. I'm not sure how old this guy is per se.
I know what you're
but
talking about now.
If you're running it all, stretch. because the referee of this game, I believe it was Adrian Hill, was near the end zone just a few moments ago, and
he
he
got
took a
carted off.
step. And at first, I saw him on the sideline with his helmet off or his hat off, and I'm thinking, what's up with Adrian Hill? And sure enough, they showed a replay, and something popped, whether it was
it was
a
either
hammy or an Achilles.
Achilles, yeah.
That's
That
gonna
had
leave
to
a
have been
mark.
one of the two. Yeah, that's going to leave a couple of marks.
Bodies have been
So
dropping in this game too. Not even
I know.
just
Kids always stretch, especially if you're going to go into rigorous physical activity. And then we've mentioned him a couple of times, and certainly with what he's doing with Kevin Libby and a bunch of us over the days and weeks over the bulk of the year for sure, and even into last year, talking about our buddy Jeff Riley, who is the birthday boy today,
That's
by
right.
the way.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
And I'm hoping to. I was hoping to get out and see him this week at Hardyville, but couldn't make that happen. Might just have to get together with he and Kev on Saturday if we can make that happen. Happy birthday, Jeff! Thanks for all you do. I tell you what, every time I see him, he just has a smile on his face. And he's ready to get in there and see what's going on and how he can help. He is such a bright light for this
He's always got
area
a smile and an
of the
idea.
country.
I'll tell you what, how
he's
he
amazing.
was getting it done on the court last night as the mopper.
Yeah, he had to get some puddles up last night. It was sweaty.
They worked him hard. They worked him hard for sure. But what
sure
a
did.
good guy, great Boston sports fan, and always a smile, no matter where he goes, and done a lot of great interviews this year for helping us out. So
yeah, he digs it, and
for you and for us.
Yep,
over at WHHI as well.
Happy birthday, Jeff! Happy birthday to you. All right, Max, I'll let you go next because it looks like you got something queued up.
Oh yeah, it is time, fellas, for another Mad Max uni check. We'll start off with this one here. We'll start off with Utah, number 13 in the country, playing on Saturday against Kansas State, wearing these all black unis. I don't know why.
I really appreciate the contrast and border on those numbers.
Yeah, man, they look so cool. I love these. They look really cool. I saw them and I was like, yeah, I like these. Utah has been
black's just a classic combo.
Yeah, but the red with it too, it makes it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Red and black is a great classic combo.
So they'll be at home. They've slowly moved up the rankings. By the way, they were sitting outside the top 25 a few weeks ago, and now 13th in the country. We'll go with this one next. Oregon is wearing these.
Oregon's always in it.
So big game on Saturday, by the way, against USC, ranked matchup
on CBS.
Here's a better picture.
These look cool, but pull your pants over your knees, bro.
What are you talking about?
A man got his pants up over his knees. Pull your pants
I know
down
most
over
of
your
them
knees.
do.
I know it's crazy. You're supposed to have pants over your knees.
Yeah,
playing in shorts practically.
Yeah, look at
it's
those.
Outrageous.
Yeah,
you're gonna blow up your kneecaps, bro, and you're just gonna get carpet burn. What a mistake.
No kidding.
All right, next ones. This is a away uni here. Arizona State on the road at Colorado. It is Sparky's birthday. Sparky, the Sun Devil's birthday today, and they'll be wearing these in honor of him.
Riley. Now we gotta start calling Jeff Riley Sparky.
I like it.
Fit.
Those white helmets with, of course, Sparky on the side of him.
Sparky's great. Sparky's an all-time great mascot logo.
So good. So good. That's the only picture I got of that one. And then finally, of course, Thursday night football's going on. We did just mention the Houston Texans because, of course.
They're pretty nice, actually.
They're looking good. I love those unis.
I actually like those.
I really do like them.
Those. I'm a sucker for a glossy red helmet like that. It's just
me too.
Glorious.
And they shine. I mean, I'm watching this game right now.
They do. Really they're glorious.
They're about to extend their lead here with a field goal.
Yeah, they are.
All I know
Bills
is
are in
Josh
peril.
Allen's got to get on a roll.
Josh
He's had a
Allen's
tough
been
night.
sacked like 4 times in this game. That
He
You
got
should have
hurt.
saved a
defense
couple of last
really
week's
good.
touchdowns for this week.
Smoking
kidding.
him. But anyway, this has been the Mad Max
That
Uni check.
was. That was the Mad
All
Max's
right.
uni check.
So,
Wes Curry, you're up.
Yes. First off, we have obviously, we have the SCISA state championships on this weekend over at obviously. We know that our very own Colleton Prep Warhawks taking on Williamsburg. Some other intriguing games as well. Bethesda PD. I expect Bethesda to roll in that one. The Blazers have been just the class of really SCISA, those classification general. They've been beating everybody this year, but 2A, I expect them to roll against PD. Hilton at Prep just so close to getting in.
Gosh,
Bethesda looking like the team
Would've been
beat.
fun.
I like them to roll, but the game of the night, other than Williamsburg Colleton Prep, the nightcap is going to be a good one too. Wilson Hall against Pinewood Prep. I'm excited to see how that one goes. Both teams.
Yeah,
tremendous
I am
scenes.
too.
I like Pinewood Prep by a bit, but Wilson Hall really showing it off. That I'm impressed with what they did Hilton Christian Academy. So
remember, they beat Pinewood Prep.
They
during
did.
the
They
regular
beat them
season.
the first meeting. So yeah,
So-
it's going to be.
But I will say the game that has more intrigue for me is the one taking place tomorrow night in Orangeburg
Northwood
between Heathwood Hall and Northwood.
No Hammond this year.
No Hammond for the first time
How
since
about it?
2016.
Whoa!
Ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Very long
Wow.
time since we've seen that. And I
Wow.
thought, it's funny because I thought if Hammond would have won that game, I still think they would have lost to Northwood Academy because Northwood put a butt whooping on them during the regular season. Beat them by, I think, 20, 21, 28, something like that. That Northwood Academy team is no joke. Hopefully Heathwood Hall can hang with them. But, yeah, that's very intriguing. Just crazy to not think Hammond's going to be playing for, a state championship this season. Just crazy thought process there because you want to talk about a powerhouse in South Carolina. There's a powerhouse for you. I got to look now and see how many state championships they've won over the years because the number is absolutely ridiculous.
Yep. And then some good matchups on the state championship side. I wanted to talk about some college basketball because obviously things are starting to get into high gear. This is always a fun time of year because you got a lot of tournaments coming up. Thanksgiving week, a lot of excitement as these teams start to get going. How about your Missouri Tigers, JJ? 6-0 to start the season, and then just picked up
a
another
hundo
one today.
tonight.
Yeah, 102-68 win over South Dakota. Taking care of business so far. Nice win over Minnesota, 83-60. Let's see who do they got coming up. SC State, Cleveland State, Notre Dame, and then Kansas. So they got some tougher ones coming up soon, early December. So I'm excited to see how the Tigers do as it gets a little tougher. And how about Davidson? Undefeated so far, 4-0 to begin the year. Not sure how long it'll last, but nice win over Charlotte. They had to battle for that one, and for a team that has really struggled since Matt McKillop took over, some optimism to start this year. And so they're actually playing in Charleston this weekend, the Charleston Classic, taking on Boston College, and then either Tulane or Utah State. I love that arena called Charleston. It's a great place to watch basketball. I've been there before, and it's pretty down there, especially this time of year when it's not so hot. It's beautiful this time of year. So if you haven't been to a college Charleston game, or if you're looking to catch some college basketball this weekend, the Charleston Classic, Davidson is in one of the divisions, but there's also another division with some more highly regarded teams. Let me pull up the bracket here and see who's playing. Let's see. Yeah, Clemson will be in that alongside Georgia, West Virginia, and Xavier. And then the other bracket is Boston College, Davidson, Tulane, Utah State. So if you're looking for something to do this weekend, go watch some basketball. Some great college hoops over the Charleston Classic. So it's an exciting event. It's one of my favorite. Of course, you got Maui, you got a lot of other fun tournaments, but here in the South Carolina, in Palmetto State, it's always fun to watch some teams come over to the close to the area and those some high stakes college basketball games to begin the year. So that's always exciting. I enjoy watching and going to those games when they be able to. And of course, finally, just so really pumped for tomorrow. This Hilton Seahawk team. What a year it's been under BJ Payne. This is the makings of a really good one tomorrow. I think it will be competitive. I think Hilton will find a way to stay in it with the tremendous defense that we have seen. And I feel really good that Renishevsky is going to deliver a great game. It certainly could go the other way. I mean, it definitely could. But I feel like Hilton is going to rise to the challenge. And
going to be fun.
Yep. And then about that Seahawks game, I just saw on social media, all Hilton High students, if you're watching this, you can come to the game for free tomorrow, thanks to Principal Ernich. Yes, if you show up tomorrow, you will be able to get in the game for free, even with sometimes there's different rules with the booster club stuff with playoffs. If you are a student with a valid high school ID, you get it for free tomorrow. So no excuse, students.
Wear your blue and white too.
Get your big behinds into that stadium.
I think that's an option that you can pay a certain amount, to void your buy out your student population, basically.
Good option to have.
Free, which is great. I mean, you should always do that if you can manage it. So there's no reason not to be in that student section going absolutely insane tomorrow night. There's nothing more important to do. I've got a parting thought for you. It's regarding girls wrestling. One of the fastest growing sports for girls in the country. I saw this the other day and I had to find it again. In 1990, there were 112 girls wrestling in high school in the entire country. In 2025, they are estimating 74,000 girls wrestling in high school. It's really blowing up. It's the newest NCAA sanctioned sport for women, and we have had some great girls go on to wrestle at the next level here. Jada Lawrence from Bluffton is at Columbia University in the Ivy League right now. Of course, Zeo Estrada, who was here for a number of years. Last I checked, she was at William Penn. I don't know if she has gone to an NCAA school now that they have approved wrestling. But one of the next ones to go is going to be Elysia Mullins from Beaufort. She had an official visit and got her first offer from Southwestern Michigan College. So
good for her.
We're going to be watching her this year to see what she can do. It's a weird deal with girls wrestling in our state right now because it's still in its infancy. There are not a lot of girls wrestling relative to boys. There are not a lot of full teams of girls. And part of the problem is that if you declare a girls team, then your girls can only compete against other girls. And because of the lack of competition, that really limits the amount of matches they can get. So it kind of better serves you to keep a co-ed team. But that kind of makes it difficult for girls to get into the lineup, So we're kind of in this growing pain stage right now for girls wrestling. But I think in the next few years, we're going to see us get over that hump where about every school that has wrestling has a separate girls team, and there'll be more opportunity there. But I mean, in Kansas now, my niece who wrestled a year in college, she didn't enjoy freestyle, which is the style of women's wrestling in college right now. I hope they switch that to folk style personally, because that's what you do in high school. But she didn't like freestyle, so she gave it up after a year. But she came home and she's coaching the girls team now, coaching my other niece on the girls team at my old high school. So I think we'll get there soon where we'll have full girls teams, and it's an awesome sport for girls. I'm glad that it's catching on. I got to be honest, as an old school wrestling guy, when I first was introduced to the idea, it was like, oh man, wrestling girls, I don't know. But now seeing it grow into its own sport, where especially when it's two good girls going at it, it's amazing. And I gotta be honest, watching a girl beat a boy in a fair fight is very satisfying. It's very satisfying, and I've seen it happen a lot of times, and I always get a little bit of a kick out of it. The humility is golden. That's the beauty of the sport, is humility. It humbles everyone. Even Bo Bassett takes L's, I mean, it's just that kind of deal. I love this.
Kind of like golf in that way.
Yeah,
it is.
Because you're
There's
gonna
always
get
somebody
humbled
better than you. There's always somebody
regardless.
better than you. And when you think you got it figured out, here comes a snap down and your face is in the mat. And you're like, whoa, okay. As Rick Sofield always said, baseball does the same thing. Just when you think you got it figured out, here comes a line drive right in your teeth.
Yeah.
So, you know, but that's why we love sports,
really cool.
right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Get to watch people go through it and get back up and keep fighting. So
the other reason
good show tonight, boys.
is,
We went on way too long,
Yeah.
but what are you going to do when you got so much going on the Loco sports scene? Thanks so much to all of our sponsors. Thanks to everybody who showed up to listen or watch. We'll be getting back on here tomorrow night to tell you about all the high school football games. Well, the 2 high school football games going on, and continue to prepare you for Saturday's state championship game.
Yes, Max Raj will be
Academy
on
up in
site.
Orangeburg.
Yep.
Indeed. And I believe hitting up Scott Owens's tailgate.
Oh, yeah.
Well, right?
I ain't missing out a great tailgate. You know, Colleton Prep likes the party, man.
We may need some live hits from the tailgate pregame, but good time tonight, boys. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. You showing up to listen or watch is what keeps us coming back for more, although I think we'd show up and just talk to ourselves.
Heck yeah.
But
no doubt.
Hopefully it never comes to that. Hopefully y'all keep tuning in. But we'll see you next time. For Marcus Walsh, Max Araj, and Wes Kerr, I am Justin Jarrett. Until next time, go Loco.